Alright, before this video starts, I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much for 100 subs. It's just a really cool goal to get to starting at a YouTube channel, so I appreciate you guys. I wanted to bring you a long form video, see if you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if this is your first time on the channel, make sure to drop a sub. And you know, if you hate my list, drop a sub. I got a lot of controversial takes, so just stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, today we're going to be ranking Call of Duty Zombies maps. We're just going to be doing World at War to BO3, just kind of the base Zombies maps, the main zombie maps in my opinion. I do love BO4 and I am a fan of Cold War a little bit, but right now we're just going to start out with these three. And yeah, let's get into it. We're just going to be ranking all these maps, and this is my personal opinion. This isn't like how the community thinks of them, this is what I think. And just so you guys know, I have some hot takes, so just be ready. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with the classic Nocturne Toten. So I feel like Noct is just a really classic map. Like, I used to play it a lot on World at War just with my friends, and obviously it was a hard map because it was the first map. There's no perks, it's really bare bones. You know, there's no pack-a-punch. It's kind of just hit the box, camp, see how long you can survive, but have fun doing it. So I feel like the fact that you can have fun playing Noct, even though it has none of those features, is a good fact, but I still think that Noct is going to be like a C tier map just because how bare bones it is, and I definitely would play a lot of maps over Noct. Okay, moving on to Verrückt. Alright, so in my opinion, Verrückt is fun, but it's very chaotic, and we're just talking about World at War Verrückt. They got the Verrückt sprinters, we got really no wonder weapon, not the best time. I mean, you can use the traps to get the high rounds, but the system where you start in the different starting rooms than your teammate is really unique, and I wish they brought that back in more maps. Honestly, I think I would rather play Nocturne Toten over Verrückt, so I might toss Verrückt in the top of D right now. Actually, I'm going to put it at the bottom of C. I'm going to keep it at the bottom of C. I feel like there's worse maps. Alright, moving on to Shinonuma. Shinonuma is definitely one of the easiest zombie maps of all time. You know, the 24 zombie cap, you get super high rounds. You've seen people get the crazy rounds on Shinonuma. So taking all this into account, I feel like it's the worst of the World at War maps. And in that case, I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't play it. Like, I don't really log on, and I'm like, I kind of want to play Shinonuma. So I am going to toss it at the top of D tier right now. I know there's a lot of Shinonuma lovers, but just for me personally, I'm just not really a fan. Alright, now moving on to Der Riese. So Der Riese is actually one of my favorite maps of all time, just because of the fact that I used to play it a lot when I was younger. Camp on the catwalk, you know, just those memories, and then I had Pack-a-Punch and all the cool weapons, and you've seen it all for the first time. So a lot of it is nostalgia for me, but I am going to throw it in A tier. I'm not going to put it in S tier, because obviously I think there are way better maps than Der Riese, but I think Der Riese is definitely an A tier map on World at War. Alright, next up, Kino der Toten. So I might get a lot of hate for this, but I personally am not a Kino der Toten fan, and this is coming from somebody who loves Der Riese, and it's kind of similar in a way. Like, both of them have a main area like the stage and the catwalk, but I just feel like Kino der Toten for me was more boring. Like, I feel like it was very bare bones. Der Riese was like innovating for its time, but Kino der Toten really didn't innovate. It had the thunder gun, which was cool, but I just feel like Kino is very bare bones. Like, you just get your 4 perks, you run around on the stage, you Pack-a-Punch. Pack-a-Punch is very easy to unlock. It just seems more like a glorified survival map to me. As you'll see later, I love like long setups on zombies maps, so I'm actually gonna stick Kino der Toten at the top of C tier. I know people might not like that, but I'm just not really a Kino der Toten fan. Alright, moving on now. Where is it at? Alright, 5. 5, another one. I'm not trying to be a BO1 hater here, but I'm just not the biggest fan of 5. Like, I get it as a challenge map, and maybe I'm just bad at the game, which you can call me bad or whatever, but I just feel like there's not too much to 5, and it's like overly difficult, where like you're in the labs and you're just like getting jumped around every corner. Nova crawlers, I hate Nova crawlers. I forgot to mention that for Kino. I do not like Nova crawlers at all. As you'll see when I rank maps like Moon, I really don't like Nova crawlers because I just feel like something that obscures your vision and slows you down is just really kind of hindering your experience. So I'm actually gonna toss this one top of D tier right here. I got a lot of low ratings right now. I gotta get some heavy hitters soon. And perfect for the next one, we got Ascension. So I feel like the biggest thing that holds Ascension back from being like an A tier, S tier, is just the monkeys, because they're just really annoying. But honestly, on BO1 it isn't that bad because you have the 4 perk limit, but like, I'm not talking about BO3 right now, but if you pop a perkaholic on BO3 Chronicles and you're on Ascension, it's just terrible time. Obviously I'm not talking about that right now, but I'm just saying Ascension in general, the monkeys kind of hold it back, but with that being said, it's still a B tier map. Alright, moving on to Call of the Dead. So this might be controversial, in a way, but Call of the Dead's actually my favorite Black Ops 1 map, kind of by far. Like, if I loaded up Black Ops 1, I would just play Call of the Dead over all these other maps. And with that being said, I just think it's fun with, like, obviously George can be annoying, but just the whole vibe, and I just feel like it's a cool map. The Scavenger's really cool. I'm blanking. The VR11's really cool. It's just a cool atmosphere, cool setting. I think it's a really cool map. The only thing that's holding it back from S tier, in my opinion, is like the Scavenger being infinite damage. Because if it was infinite damage, then you can go high rounds, and it would be a lot more fun high rounds. But other than that, it's definitely an A tier map. I'm gonna put it right below Derice for now. I might switch this around a little bit at the end, but I'm gonna keep this like this for now. All right, now moving on to my least favorite map in BO1. I am gonna go with Shangri-La. Shangri-La is kind of like 5 in a way. It's definitely not my least favorite, but it's like 5 in a way where it's just like, it's difficult, but I don't feel like there's like that much rewarding factors that kind of make up for it being that difficult, like the traps and stuff everywhere. And I feel like such a close range map like Shangri-La shouldn't have napalm and screecher zombies, because I just feel like it's such close corridors, you're just gonna die a lot, and it's a lot of things that you can't really control. The traversals are really cool, like the water jumps and the little water slide, all that is really cool, and it's a very unique map, which is why I'm not gonna put it as low as D tier. I'm gonna throw it right behind Kino. Alright, now moving on to the last map in BO1, which is Moon. A lot of people love Moon. A lot of people might put it up here. A lot of people hate Moon. Personally, I just feel like Moon is really cool for its time. Like, it innovated a lot. Like the low gravity, the teleporters, just a lot of the different features. Like the biodome was super cool. Obviously the wave gun, like the QEDs, the Gersh device, all that stuff was really cool features. But in my opinion, Moon just like, I don't feel like it hits for me as much as you can. And I love doing Easter eggs. I feel like the Moon Easter egg is just super tedious because you got to hit the box a lot. Obviously it's a fun map to load up and play, but a lot of people have it like up here, and I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm going to stick it at the bottom of B tier for now. That's where Moon is going to land for me. Alright, now moving on to what a lot of people consider to be the best zombies game of all time. I said a lot of people for a reason, by the way, but that's going to be Black Ops 2. Transit, I mean, everyone knows kind of Transit's like a bad map. Like, we all know it's a pretty bad map, but I think Transit can be fun if you load it up with friends. It had a right idea and it was going somewhere, but it was just very flawed and very just not enjoyable. So I'm going to actually put it all the way at the bottom. Next is going to be Nuketown Zombies. So basically Nuketown Zombies summed up is it's literally just pure chaos for a survival map. But the good thing about Nuketown Zombies, in my opinion, is I feel like Nuketown has a lot of redeeming factors. The fact that it's just a survival map and it's a challenge. Like, if you want to load up and do a challenge map where you might not get jug or pack a punch until like round 25 and you just want to see how long you can survive, it's a really fun map if it's taken that way. But if you're taking it as like a core zombies map, then obviously it's going to be a lower tier. But for me personally, I just take it as like a challenge map. Like, if I want to load up and have a challenge, play a casual game of Black Ops 2, I think it's actually a really good map and I think it's a lot of fun. So with that being said, I'm actually going to stick it above Shangri-La in C tier right here. And actually, with that being said, I'm going to move Nocturne Totem above Shangri-La right here. Alright, now moving on to the DLCs in BO2, we're going to start with Die Rise. Die Rise, I honestly replayed it recently with the Black Ops 2 ports that came out, and I had fun playing Die Rise. It's very flawed, you know, like the traversal is really bad, like it's hard to move around the map. I don't feel like a map should be that hard to get places, especially where you just have to wait for elevators to go up and down. But I think that Die Rise isn't as bad as people say. With that being said, I am going to throw it bottom of C. Now from here on out, we're going to get to some of the really good maps in my opinion. So starting out with Buried. Buried is a great map. I love how Buried adds like all these like western weapons like the revolver. All the traps are super fun just to camp if you want to play that way. The Easter egg is very fun. The two different sides, both of them are cool, except obviously the sharpshooter step, which is very tedious and annoying. But other than that, Buried is just a great map. It's a very unique experience. Leroy's cool. We've never seen anything like that. The chalk is cool. And it's just a very cool experience and a very fun map. So with that being said, I'm going to actually toss Buried probably the top of A. I think I like Buried. Like, Buried's a very good map. I'm going to throw it at the top of A. The next map, Mob of the Dead. I was actually supposed to do Mob of the Dead before Buried, but Mob of the Dead is just an easy S tier. I feel like everybody should know this. Mob of the Dead is just a great map. All the unique features it added, like Afterlife, like Brutus, the Blundergat, Acid Gat. Electric Cherry is a great perk, even though a lot of people maybe overrated just because it looks cool, but like, who really cares if it doesn't really do that much? It looks sick when you're reloading, right? Like, who cares? I think it's just an easy S tier. The Easter egg's great. It's just a fun experience every time you load up. And then lastly, Origins for BO2. See, BO2 has a lot of heavy hitters, but it also has a lot of bad maps in my opinion. Origins is just another S tier map. innovating with the staffs. Just the Easter egg was the most complete for its time. Just everything about it, like all the different setups. Like I love setting up in a COD Zombies game. Obviously Origins is just an S tier map. Alright, now moving on to what a lot of people consider the best Zombies game of all time, which I said with BO2. But in this case, it really is the best Zombies game of all time. And this is going to be Black Ops 3, starting with Shadows of Evil. Easy S tier. Shadows of Evil is just another great map that innovated for its time. When it came out, a lot of people were kind of questioning it. I remember where they're like, oh, this is weird, this isn't Zombies. But it grew on people. Like, this map is just great. The Easter egg is great. There's a bunch of side Easter eggs. I couldn't even list them all. I feel like Shadows of Evil is just an easy S tier map. And then moving on from Shadows of Evil, Der Eisendrock. So Der Eisendrock is another S tier map, of course. I'm actually going to order these, so I feel like I would have Mob of the Dead, Shadows of Evil, Der Eisendrock. I love Origins, but this would be my top 3 for sure right now. Der Eisendrock is a great map. It's like Origins. It's got the elemental bows, and it's just has a very simple, in my opinion, simple Easter egg that I feel like anybody could do, but it's also challenging in its own way. And it's also very rewarding, and it's just fun. Very cool climax where you just get to blow up the moon, and just the bows are just so cool in my opinion. I like them better than the staffs, which might be a hot take, but I just feel like the ways you get them it's simpler than the staffs on Origins, which also makes it nice. But just the whole setup and everything, I just feel like it's just a great map. You can camp on this map, you can train on this map depending on what bow you have. You can really do anything on this map. That's why I feel like it's an easy S tier. Moving on to Zetsubo no Shima. So this might be a hot take, but Zetsubo no Shima is literally my favorite map of all time, which might sound crazy to a lot of people, but I just love the setup on Zetsubo. You gotta get the Masamune, you gotta get the skull, you gotta get the shield electrified. I think the Easter egg is great. Obviously you're just going for cogs, but I just feel like the Easter egg's fun. Obviously the boss fight might be a little lackluster, but it also adds that Takeo is my favorite character in Zombies. I just feel like this is just a great map. It's got a bunch of cool unique weapons like the Razorback. It's got like the HG40, just those multiplayer weapons that you never really see. And some of my favorite weapons of all time are the Marshals, the dual wield pistols. I just feel like Zetsubo no Shima is literally my favorite map of all time, just because how cool the setup is in my opinion, how cool the vibe of the map is, where it actually kind of makes you feel scared, and there's horror elements, and just the way it plays. I just feel like it's a great map, and in my opinion, if I loaded back any Zombies map, I would play Zetsubo first. Moving on to Garad Krovi. So with Garad Krovi, I think this is another great map, but I'm actually gonna put it at the bottom of A. I don't think it's as S tier as the other maps, and I think it's on a little bit of a lower tier, but I still think it's an amazing map. Like bringing back the PPSH, the Rega Mark IIIs, the Gauntlet of Siegfried, all that stuff is just really cool. And it also added helmets for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. It's definitely an A tier map, but I do think it's on the latter end of A. And then lastly, Revelations. I think Revelations is a great map, but I am going to toss it at the bottom of B tier. And this doesn't mean it's a bad map at all. I think it's a great map. It added all the maps in one, but I think it is the weakest Black Ops 3 map for sure. Yeah, they just added like a bunch of cool features that were in past games and stuff, and the Easter egg is really cool. The boss fight's cool, how it has multiple different stages, but in my opinion, it's definitely the lower end of B tier. And now that I'm done with the list, I'm gonna do some reshuffling. I feel like I got too many in C tier. I might just I guess I'll throw Kino in the bottom of B. And I honestly might put Nuketown at the top, or Nocturne Toten on the top, excuse me. And then I think this is good. I think this is a solid list. Alright, so overall, this is my list of my ratings World at War to BO3. If you want to see me rate every single COD Zombies map, drop a comment, drop a like. Yeah, let me know what you think of my list. Obviously, a lot of people might hate it, but who really cares? We're here for discussion, it's here for fun, and this is just my opinion. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.